Hey, welcome back to Shadow Shorts. Again, my name is Jeff Eccles. I'm a senior advisor and head of marketing at Shadow Partners, and I'm joined today by a colleague of mine, Ian Pollock. He's the executive director of Shadow Partners. So, Ian, welcome. Glad you're here today with me. And looks like a really nice day in Atlanta today.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeff. Yeah, excited to be here and have a chat with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I wanted to do for everybody out there that's watching this. I need to catch up, right? I need to know more about the venture capital and innovation world. And I know that one of the things that Ian is focused on is strategic partners. So, Ian, I was hoping that today maybe you could talk to me a little bit as we think about innovation in the built environment and investing in innovation in the built environment. What is a strategic partner? Why are they important? What do they do? I know you spend a lot of your time on this, so what's the deal with strategic partners?
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Jeff. So I'll take a step back and just go over a little bit of history about this industry and how technology's played a role. If you look at like the 1980s to year 2000, you had the onset of some basic technology systems like Microsoft systems, Excel, CAD, BIM modeling, 3D modeling, and you started to see the onset of these types of technologies that to optimize efficiency and how we're designing and delivering built assets. And really where we're at now is this really exciting time of a complete digital transformation of the entire built environment. And this ranges everywhere from the design, engineering phase, the construction phase, the operations and maintenance phase of built assets, and kind of everything in between. And if you look at this, the global real estate industry or built environment industry as a whole, it's about roughly 250 to 300 trillion dollars globally. So the largest asset class. It's the cities we work in and live in. It's the homes that we live in, the roads that we drive on. It's everything that's built around us. And for those of you that are part of this industry and have been part of this industry for quite some time, think that it's very apparent that we're one of the slowest industries to innovate and to embrace digital transformation and embrace technology. The core business of construction and real estate have been the same, operate the same way for decades, and there hasn't been, well, really centuries, to be honest. And there hasn't been much change. But what excites me is this inflection point we're in now. I'd say, call it between year 2020 to 2035, where we're going to see a rapid acceleration of the use of machine learning and AI tools, robotics, 3D printing, more advanced 3D modeling. There's a lot of really exciting technology out there in the marketplace. And it's really going to take strategic partnerships from the entire industry, not just within the construction industry, not just within real estate investing, not just within design and engineering, but really across the entire value chain amongst all key stakeholders. So Shadow, and I'll explain, a little bit later, the difference between Shadow Ventures and Shadow Partners. But I'd say, my vision here at Shadow is to really be this conduit to connect, the brightest entrepreneurs and ideators of these new tech tools with the industry, and then connect leaders within the industry at the executive level to share knowledge, to share resources, to have a shared commitment to cultivating a culture of innovation within their organizations. And I think that through these strategic partnerships, we can accomplish our objectives of accelerating this innovation in the industry.
Yeah, I love it. One thing you mentioned was robotics and construction, and we do have a roundtable discussion coming up. We don't have a date set for it yet, but as you're watching this, if that piqued your interest, robotics and construction, there'll be a roundtable discussion of that with, like Ian said, I mean, experts, practitioners from the industry to talk and go deep on that topic. So that's coming up. Um, when you're talking about these strategic partners, Ian, who are they, right? Where do they come from, and who do they partner with? I guess to keep it on a really basic level.
Yeah. So So Shadow Partners was recently formed as an entity to, with the sole mission of accelerating innovation in the built environment through thought leadership, through education, through community. Shadow Partners has an advisory business that's delivering innovation advisory consulting to large corporate enterprise in the built environment, as well as startup companies, and then an incubator. Shadow Ventures, the venture capital firm, again, which I'll explain a bit more here in a moment, has had incubators in the past, but Shadow Partners is relaunching its incubator to really help these early stage, pre-revenue companies really, find their product market fit and identify their market. So we look for large corporate enterprise. So if it's a robotics company that's addressing, optimizing efficiency of how we're framing single family residential or multifamily residential buildings, a strategic partnership with a large contractor and a developer focused on that multifamily or single family asset class to pilot these new technologies, to invest in these new technologies, and to provide valuable feedback to these entrepreneurs through their journey. That will enable us to accelerate their growth and ultimately the speed at which they can go to market. These startups can go to market and impact the core businesses of the industry, which we do have a dire need to shift the way in which we build and operate and maintain built assets, because almost half of global carbon emissions come from our industry. There's a lot of operational inefficiencies. Embodied carbon in the materials that we're using is a major concern. So looking for advanced materials that are more sustainable, built using systems and methods that are much more efficient, is going to contribute to kind of lowering the impact, on our planet.
Yeah. One of the things that I really love about the idea of the strategic partners and the way these relationships work is this is something that my graduate students run into, right? We basically run my graduate class as a startup incubator. And by the way, you mentioned the incubator launching August 1st, by the way. If you need information about that, there's more to come. Reach out to me on LinkedIn and I can share more information about that, about the Shadow Incubator for you. But in my class, one of the hardest things for the students to do is get real life feedback. Right? It's a student project. They are students in university, things like that. And that's one of the things that I love about the strategic partnership initiative is that if you are a startup and you're partnered with a larger corporate partner, you can learn directly from the source what it is that they need, what it is that they value. And that can, as you said, that can accelerate the growth and accelerate the impact that you can have. I think it's a great program. It's a great relationship to develop there. When I know you spend all day, or probably almost all day, every day, trying to make these partnerships, trying to find the right, put the right people in the right seats on the bus, to steal a quote. But where do you look? How do you go about that task?
Yeah. So we really look for, you know, corporate enterprise in the built environment across the entire value chain that are willing to kind of pledge this commitment of investing in and prioritizing research and development, which, as we all know, has been dismal, over the last many decades. I believe there's a recent innovation benchmark report that Shadow Partners released. And there's even back in 2018, McKinsey released a report as well, echoing these same numbers. So not much has changed. That only 1 to 3% of total corporate spend goes to research and development in this industry. So, one, we look for large built environment corporations that are committed to investing in and prioritizing research and development of innovative technologies. Second, we're looking for companies that want to foster collaboration. They're willing to collaborate with their peers, even their competitors and other industry leaders, to share knowledge. I know there's a lot of conferences and events that are out there. Many of them kind of parrot the same talking points around ESG and AI, and we're not really getting to the crux of the issue. And there's a lot of, there's thousands, literally thousands of tech startups in this industry that are out there that are kind of doing the same thing, and none of them are really impacting the core business. And this comes directly from our existing strategic partners who are aware of a lot of these technologies, but it's still business as usual. They may be implemented on the periphery, but we look for in a strategic partner, secondly, in an executive management team and a field team that's willing to foster collaboration and learn from their peers and share knowledge with their peers. Maybe not keep their tech stack so close to the chest, and be a bit more open to collaborate to improve the entire built environment as a whole together. And then thirdly, it would be an organization that is prioritizing cultivating a culture of innovation within their organization. So I think a lot of this starts with recruiting. Recruiting is a major issue and pain point in this industry. I think because we're still telling the same story and narrative to recent high school or recent college grads, and what's to be expected of working in the built environment. And I'll say that there's a lot of really innovative and neat technology being implemented and deployed, and I just don't think that the most corporations are telling that story in the right way. So they're losing the top tech talent to your large tech companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter. Maybe less so Twitter, since they've laid off so much of their staff. But yeah, so really those three things, a priority of investing in research and development, fostering a culture of collaboration, and then fostering a culture within the organization that's embracing digital transformation. So I'll reach out to our existing networks. Really, KP Reddy, the founder of Shadow, he's got 30 years of experience in this industry, as a technologist and a serial entrepreneur, and has built up really strong relationships over the years. So kind of leveraging the ecosystem that he's built, along with the investor base of Shadow Ventures, which was established in 2017. We've got about 160 limited partners, mostly strategic across the built environment, and really strong relationships with the C-suite. So typically your CEOs, your chief technology officers, your CIOs, and really like senior directors focused on innovation and technology. So leveraging those relationships, getting referrals, and really sparking deeper conversations that are forcing these leaders to think critically. That's I'd say where I look to establish some of these new strategic partnerships with Shadow partners, and really pull together the right people and facilitate the right conversations.
Yeah, great. So in the last minute or two here, you mentioned earlier there's a difference between Shadow Partners and Shadow Ventures. You mentioned KP Reddy, who's the founder of Shadow. What's the difference between Shadow Partners and Shadow Ventures?
Yeah, great question. And I think it's important to distinguish what these two entities are and where their focuses lie, and how they may be a little bit different. So Shadow Ventures is a venture capital firm that is investing in seed stage or pre or early revenue technology companies that are addressing key problems for the built environment. I mentioned across the entire value chain. And this capital is raised from limited partners or investors. Majority of them are large design, engineering, construction, developer, building product manufacturing corporations. Full stop. So this is Shadow Ventures, raising and deploying seed stage capital into technology startup companies. Shadow Partners. So we've been doing, a lot of these activities for years around events and thought leadership and advisory. And we decided to start Shadow Partners to be the entity which is separate from Shadow Ventures, that solely focuses on these activities through strategic partnership that are going to accelerate innovation. So Shadow Partners isn't investing in startup companies. Shadow Partners is driving innovation through again thought leadership, education, and community, leveraging the existing relationships that we've built up over the years with startup companies, with academic subject matter experts, with corporate industry executives, and really fostering this critical thought through chats like we're having right now, roundtable discussions. We have a private online community made up of these key stakeholders. We host an annual summit called Shadow Summit in the fall each year. This year is in Atlanta, Georgia, October 24th through the 26th. And then our advisory business, really helping support large corporate enterprise and startups on their innovation journeys. And then the incubator program, which is relaunching August 1st, really supporting these pre-revenue startups in their path to market. And then finally, our Insights platform, which is essentially the largest database of technology companies within the built environment, where a subscriber to Insights, the Insights platform, can get analyst on demand tailored data on sets of companies that fit certain problem areas that they're focused on around innovation. So that's where I sit, is with Shadow Partners, and really looking for entities that are passionate about this transition and this transformation of our industry, and want to collaborate with their peers on the executive level, get access to startup companies, and really dig deeper into like what technology is on the cutting edge and how they can deploy it into their own businesses.
Yeah. So that's a lot of information, right? There's a lot of things going on at Shadow Partners, and if you want to find out more, obviously you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Ian. We're both really easy to find on LinkedIn, which is maybe where you're watching this right now. But down in the lower left corner of your screen right now, there's a URL, shadowpartners.co. Co, not com, shadowpartners.co. That's obviously our homepage, it's their website. So you can go there and you can find all this information that Ian's sharing that we've been talking about. Find out about the incubator. You can find out about the advisory program. You can find out, even link over to Shadow Ventures, etc. You can find all that information there. So shadowpartners.co. And then, as Ian mentioned, Shadow Summit is coming up in October. Shadowsummit.com is the place where you can find more information on that. That website is currently under redevelopment because we're fleshing out the schedule and the speakers and everything for the summit as it comes up. As Ian said, there'll be a reception on the 24th of October, and then a full day, the 25th and 26th in Atlanta. So if you're interested in joining us for the summit, KP Reddy, Ian mentioned him before. He's the CEO, he's the founder of Shadow. The way that he described the summit to me the other day was, he said it's a Cliff Notes view of everything that's happened in terms of innovation in the built environment in 2023, and a look forward at what you should plan for and budget for in terms of innovation in 2024. So that'll be a great 2 days, 2 full days plus the reception Tuesday night, for you to come and immerse yourself in deep conversations about innovation in the built environment. If that's for you, if you need to be a part of those conversations, you need to get to Shadow Summit. So shadowsummit.com is the place to go for that. Ian, thanks a lot for this conversation. I understand the role of the strategic partners a lot better now, and I appreciate the work that you do because it directly affects everything that we're doing at Shadow Partners, certainly, and the way that we support our LPs, our startups, and everybody else. So thanks for joining me today. And absolutely. And for everybody else out there, we'll continue this ride. We're calling these shorts, we're calling them Shadow Shorts. Look for the next one, hopefully Monday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to weave in things like Meet the VC, Dances with Elephants. You'll have to tune in to find out more about what that is, roundtables, fireside chats, etc. But this is going to be the place for conversations about innovation in the built environment. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.